And just allow your eyes to close. And allow yourself to come into this present moment. Right here, right now. This breath. Draw the awareness to the breath. And just allow the awareness to merge with the breath. As it flows in and flows out. Don't try to change the breath. Just allow the awareness to expand and expand. As you inhale, allow the breath to rise. Begin taking the breath from low in your abdomen. There's an energy center just about 2 inches below your belly button called the Swadhisthana chakra. And as you inhale, take the breath from there and then allow it to rise through the body and through the energetic system. And it rises higher and higher until it gets to the third eye center, the Agya chakra. And then allow that breath to release. Exhaling and letting go. As you inhale, the breath rises and rises. Higher and higher. Closer and closer up to that third eye center. And then on the exhalation, sinking back deeply. Back down deeply into the Swadhisthana chakra. If you can't carry the breath all the way up on one smooth and unbroken inhalation, don't worry. Just carry it as high as you can and then let it come back down. But keep the power of intention and the mind's inner eye on that third eye center, on that Ajna Chakra, the energy center of the power of discrimination. Take the breaths at your own pace, not forcing anything, just gently rising higher and higher on each inhalation and sinking deeper and deeper on each exhalation. Rising higher and higher on the inhalations and sinking deeper and deeper into that core of the self on the exhalations. Slowly and gently bring the palms of your hands together and rub them gently against each other. Press the palms of your hands into your closed eyes. Slowly lower the hands and open your eyes. Welcome to Satsang. Starting with a question that came in advance from our global audience who have sent them in advance, people from all over the world, and then we'll open it up to any questions that anyone here has. How can we overcome our negative self-talk and cultivate a more positive and self-affirming mindset. Wonderful. So, raise your hand if you've ever experienced any kind of negative self-talk. It means saying to yourself at any point, oh my God, you're so stupid, or you're this, or you're that, or you can't do anything. Okay. So, pretty unanimous. And I wanted you to do that, and I did it with our eyes open. So everyone could see that, yeah, it happens to everybody. It's very normal. Rather, I should say it's very common. Normal depends on what we think about the nature of our psyche and the mind. So it's very normal in terms of the way that we've been brought up, the way that our minds have attached themselves with Maya, with ignorance. See, here's how it happens. And in the problem is the solution. Who we are at the core of ourselves is divine. One with the divine. Created of the Creator and by the Creator. Not only by the Creator, but of the Creator. Which means that all of those attributes of the Creator are true of us. So, attributes of God, infinite, grace, peace, love, compassion, truth, right? These are just some. I'm just throwing out attributes that most of us use. If I said to you, define, describe God in your mind, your tradition, your lineage, your way, whatever it may be, your path. Well, we all agree that the divine is infinite. We agree that the divine is pure love. Excuse me. Truth. Fullness. Completeness. Omnipotence. Right? These are attributes of the divine. We've been created of that divine, not just by the divine, but of the divine. Which means that that is who we are. We are soul. We are spirit. We are divinity. The dilemma comes, Maya. And I'm actually bringing two questions together because there was also a question that said, how do we deal with Maya? Can we really not be lost in the illusion? So we're actually putting the question of Maya together with the question of negative self-talk because they go together. Maya says, you are the body. That's Maya. Or that's what we would call more specifically avidya or agyan, meaning the lack of, the absence of knowledge or wisdom. Lack of gyan, lack of vidya, makes us think we are the body. It's an aspect of Maya. When I think I am the body, well then, God, it's really not beautiful enough. It could be so much more beautiful. I mean, I could be a different height. I could be a different weight. I could have a different set of proportions of, bust to hip to waist. I could have a different skin tone. I could have different hair. I could not have a pimple on my nose. So many things could be so much better. And I look around at all the people who I think are more beautiful than I am, and I feel not so attractive. I could be so much smarter. There's so much I don't know. And I look at all the people who are smarter than I am, and I think, oh God, I don't know anything. And I could be so much more skillful, able, efficient, effective. And I look around at all the people who are doing things so much better than I am, and I think, oh, not fair, I'm useless, I'm worthless. Right? So you see how, from the identification as the body, what it looks like, what it can do, its status in society, through that agyan or avidya, through that maya, I suffer. I don't feel beautiful enough. I don't feel smart enough. I don't feel successful enough. I don't feel popular enough. Oh my God, maybe that person doesn't like me. Maybe I'm not likable. Why didn't anybody comment on my social media post? Right? This is what goes through everyone's minds, sadly. Why does it go through our mind? Because in that ignorance, I have identified as this body, this role, this story. I've hooked into Maya. And I've decided it is truth. Therefore, my mind is constantly telling me, you're ugly, you're stupid, you shouldn't have said that, you're worthless, you're not smart enough, you'll never be successful, you'll never be this, you'll never be that, look at how much better that person is. Who do you think you are? Surely you're going to fail. So the answer to the negative self-talk is not just about substituting it for positive. I mean, you could do that, and on a very basic level, it'll work. If instead of saying I'm ugly, if I do enough affirmations and say I am beautiful, and I put Post-it notes up all over my house that say I am beautiful, I could change that self-talk. And that's helpful, but ultimately it is symptom alleviation. It isn't actually addressing the core cause. The core cause is this false identification. Because if I think I am the body, well, sure, things like ugly or beautiful are obviously subjective, but in an objective, truthful reality as well, there's going to always be a lot of people who are more beautiful than you are, more handsome than you are, more successful than you are, smarter than you are, funnier than you are, more popular than you are, better at doing pretty much anything that you want to do than you are. You paint, there'll always be people who are better painters. You dance, there will always be people who are better dancers. You write, there will be people who are better writers. So every time I identify as that which I do, or as that which I look like, or as that which I have, I'm laying a very fertile ground for that negative self-talk to blossom. And this is where we have to go about fixing it from the foundation. So if your negative self-talk says you are ugly, sure, one answer is learn to say I'm beautiful. But a deeper answer is I'm not this body. This isn't who I am. Who's the I that's ugly? Sure, there is a body, like you have a car. And your car is nicer than some people's car, and it's not as nice as other people's car. Fancier than some people's car, not as fancy as other people's car. But it isn't you. And if your negative self-talk says you're stupid, yeah, you could go back with, I am brilliant. But a truer answer is I'm not my brain. It's good at some things, not so good at other things. Some of us can do math really well, others of us can't do math if our lives depended on it. Some of us have great memories, some of us don't. Some of us are more creative in certain ways than others. We're all different. Everybody's brain is different. So by whatever standard you are deciding you are stupid, is clearly some function of the brain. I got a math problem wrong, I say I'm stupid, means that aspect of my brain is not as highly refined as I would like it to be. Does not function as well as I would like it to. But I'm not my brain. I'm not stupid. The parts of my brain that do mathematical reasoning are just not my strong point. Okay. It's a physical aspect. Like saying how tall you are, or how much you weigh, or what the color of your skin is. Some of us can sing, some of us can dance, some of us can, tap your nose and rub your stomach at the same time. Everybody remember that from being a kid, right? I mean, some people could do it automatically. Others could do it for hours and not quite get it. Some people juggle, some people can't juggle. We've all got different abilities. But they're all products of one thing, the brain. But we are not our neurons. So I'm not stupid. I'm not ugly. I'm not this. I'm not that. Because all of the ways I'm judging myself don't actually have anything to do with who I am. So the deep way of overcoming the negative self-talk is not just substitute it for positive talk, but really go in there and question yourself, who is ugly? Who is stupid? Who's the who we're talking about? Do I really identify as a physical body? Like my car, like a box? Let me go deeper. Let me start reading some scriptures. Let me start reading Yoga Sutras or Bhagavad Gita or whatever it may be. The teachings, the lives of the saints and the sages and the masters. Let me start going to satsang. Let me start meditating. Let me start doing something to show myself who I really am. And there's nothing wrong, by the way, with feeling great about how you look, feeling great with how your brain works. Nothing wrong with that. The dilemma is, it won't always be so. There will come a time in your life, and whether it's through aging, whether it's through illness, whether it's through an accident, whatever it may be, in which you look in the mirror and you do not see beauty looking back at you. And if you've spent your whole life identifying as what you look like, then those days are going to be very difficult days. And as you age, it's going to bring about a lot of suffering. And then you're going to find yourself jumping on this anti-aging chaos. Somehow, some doctor or dermatologist or beautician or somebody is going to just invent something that's going to change the very nature of nature. Some cream, some potion, some tonic, some serum that's just going to render the nature of nature foiled. I don't think so. A better way to really combat aging is to realize you're not that which ages. That's the anti-aging rule. I'm not the body. Yeah, the body's aging, but I'm not the body. I'm eternal. When we pray, asatoma sadgamaya, tamsoma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Lead us, the last part says, lead us from death to immortality. Not via some serum or tonic or ultra moisturizer. Not via some injection or surgery. But via recognizing that who you are is the soul which is eternal, not the body which is mortal. And so we begin with the foundation, freeing ourselves from that Maya, from avidya, from agyan. Going into gyan, wisdom, truth of who I am. Such that whenever the negative self-talk comes, I've got something very deep to offer it. More than just a different way of looking at the body. And then, as I age, as my bank account goes up and down, as my identity of my career or my family relationships, as these things change, as I age, as I retire, as kids move out of the house, I'm not dependent upon that identity, that role, that relationship to think about who I am. So we've addressed 3 questions in one. Maya, negative self-talk, and anti-aging. Questions here? Yes.
Hello. Hi. Could you speak to the nature of love? I'm trying to
The nature of?
Love.
Love.
You alluded to it a few times, and I'm just trying to understand what love really is. Not in a romantic sense, just the rudimentary, primal feeling of love.
Well, the rudimentary definition of love depends on who you ask. Because for some people, if you just want the basic definition, they'll tell you it's an emotion. I feel love. Sometimes I feel anger, sometimes I feel sadness, sometimes I feel love. You bring me flowers and chocolate, you massage my aching back. I love you. You do everything I want, you make me feel so good about myself, you bring me breakfast in bed, I love you. You don't do those things, Or God forbid, even worse, you treat me awfully. You say very mean things to me. You hurt me, but you betray me. Well, then I hate you. Right? And then hate is an emotion also. In that sense. But that isn't really the core. That's not, to me, what real love is. I don't actually think love is an emotion. Because all of what I've just described is much more I appreciate you. I feel full by you. You fill up my holes, all the parts in me that ache, physically, mentally, emotionally. You fill them, so I don't have to feel the aching, gaping holes in myself. So I appreciate it. I feel comfort in your presence, happiness, satisfaction in your presence. But when you stop filling up my aching, gaping holes, because you no longer say what I want to hear, you no longer act the way I want you to act, well, then I no longer love you. Then it was never really love to begin with. Then it simply was enjoyment, appreciation, passion in some times, lust in other ways, need, dependence. I mean, there's a whole bunch of other words I could give you for what that is. But it isn't love the way that we mean real love. When we speak about prem or pyar, that's not just, oh, you made me breakfast in bed, I love you. You cheated on me, I hate you. Real love is of the spirit. It's heart chakra energy to heart chakra energy. It's on the deepest level, soul to soul. All of what I described before is simply body to body and mind to mind. You make my body happy, you make my mind happy. But if I really love you, then I love you, the core of who you are, the essence of who you are. It means I love your soul, I love your spirit, I love you from the center of me that is love, that is energetic love, that is connecting to the energy of love in you. And that's an energy of the universe. That is there regardless of what you do, regardless of whether you're here in front of me or you're somewhere far away. That's a love that I feel. You may have been the one who turned it on, who turned on what I call my internal love manufacturing plant. But ultimately that love is now in me. It's an energy in me. And it makes me look at trees differently and flowers differently and the stars of the night sky differently. It makes me look at the world differently. Because love has changed the very nature of who I am and how I'm living. So it's an energy. It's a very powerful energy. In the kirtan and the arati that we sing is that beautiful line that Pujya Swamiji leads us in, Sabse unchi prem sagai. The highest form of love is love for God. Meaning, if I love you, and I want that love to be the highest love, not just lust, not just passion, not just dependence or attachment, but really the highest form of love, then the divine in me is loving the divine in you. Then I am connecting from that place within me that is divine with that place within you which is divine. So then it's not half and half become one. Then it's one and one become one. And that's the energy. And it's the energy of creation. It's the energy of the universe. It's the greatest energy in the world. And so many things can catalyze it. The one we love is a catalyst for our internal love manufacturing plant. So if you loved and you lost, or you loved and you were betrayed, sure, you may feel anger at the one who betrayed you, but don't let the love go away from within you. That person was just a catalyst for turning on that love factory inside you. Let it keep going. Because that love is yours. And that love is you. Beautiful. Other questions? Yes. And then we'll come here.
Namaste. It is often said one should be able to change their circumstances if they are not conducive to your growth or your well-being. But what if you are not able to do that and you have to live despite whatever your environment is and you have to live in it? How does one cultivate the disconnect so that that doesn't affect you on a mental level and an emotional level, and you still grow and prosper despite being in the circumstances which you think are not conducive or right?
Beautiful. There's a reason that the national flower is the lotus, right? There's a reason that in our pujas we offer lotus flowers. Every year on Ganga Dashera, we offer these beautiful lotus flowers to Ma Ganga. Thousands of them. It's exquisite. Why do we worship and love the lotus flower? Because it's a symbol. It's a symbol of beauty that grows in the muck. The lotus isn't needing to leave the muck to become beautiful. She grows in the muck, but she's not letting the muck in her. And that's the key. Is if your circumstance or your situation is not conducive, and you cannot change it, well, then you become like the lotus. Because one thing is absolutely crystal clear. No one on earth has the power to prevent you from living your dharma or to experiencing the truth of who you are or to attaining enlightenment, moksha, samadhi. No one has that power unless you give it to them. If you say, you make me so angry, it's your fault I'm angry. I was so peaceful, then you came home. Then I've given you the power. But that's up to me. Unless I give it to you, no one has the power to prevent me from fulfilling my dharma, whatever the circumstance might be. We see every day in such horrible situations in the world, from war to crime to drugs to poverty. We've got every day beautiful examples of beings who are in the worst situation. And yet, in that situation, who become beacons of light. People who came out of the Holocaust. Some who lost their lives in the Holocaust, others who managed not to lose their lives but were in the concentration camps. I mean, we find these inspiring beings who 80 years later are those we are looking to for inspiration. How do you live? And obviously what they're going through, what they went through, is far worse than what we go through. But nonetheless, in the midst of a concentration camp, in the midst of losing every single family member, of knowing that your number is next, we have beacons of light, people who manage to stay anchored in love, hope, faith, truth, compassion. People coming out of gang-infested cities, drug-infested cities, poverty-ridden places, and who become leaders, world leaders, beacons of light. And I mention this because they remind us it is possible. And every time you feel like my circumstance, my situation is so bad that no matter what I do, I cannot be peaceful, just spend half an hour online, Googling some of them. Just read. Read some of it. Their diaries, their lives, their teachings. Because it'll just remind you of the power that you have. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that it isn't easier being in an ashram than being in a difficult family situation or a difficult work situation. But I'm saying that no one, even a being who is about to take your life, has the ability to prevent you from attaining peace, from fulfilling your dharma, unless you give it to them. And so you need to remember that. Stay anchored, stay grounded, but also set boundaries. With love, you can come up with all kinds of ways to do it. Set up a certain number of hours a day that you are in silence. Ye mera mon hai. Create boundaries for yourself. Sube, sham, whatever it is. I'm not saying everybody's going to say, oh, that's so great, no problem. There will be pushback, but that's okay. Because you are also not here. Your dharma on earth is not here to make sure that no one else ever feels uncomfortable. Or that no one else ever has to compromise. That's not your dharma. And so we work out in individual situations, in individual ways. How can I, both internally with my own energy system, my own thoughts, my own japa, no matter what the situation, I stay anchored. I keep chanting my mantra. But also, in my physical space, in my physical time, I set up boundaries. Here's the time that I'm in silence. Here's the time I'm meditating. And they become non-negotiable. And you work it out. You do whatever you have to do, but you do it with love. And you make sure that you never tell another person or even yourself, you've made me angry. It's your fault. Because no one can make you angry. No one can steal your peace. Every one of us makes decisions, conscious, unconscious decisions, of what we are prepared to lose our peace over. But that decision is up to us. And again, I realize there are situations that are easier than others. But this is an opportunity for you to really be clear about what are you prepared to lose your peace over and what are you not. And what are your boundaries? And to keep that japa going all the time. And to just be aware. Just notice it. Anger is arising. Not I am angry, but I notice anger is beginning to arise. And you look at it, you see it, you notice it. Hi, I don't actually have time for you today. I've already committed the day to spending it with love instead. You can try again tomorrow. I think I'll be busy again tomorrow too. But thanks for dropping by. Right? You're in a meeting. Someone tries to interrupt you. I'm so sorry. I'm already... Time to de diya. I've already committed my day to love instead. So sorry. Beautiful. Yes.
Thank you. And I was wondering why there is some beings that seem to pierce through the illusion of separation quicker than others. And then I felt that that question might be related with predeterminism and sovereignty.
Why some of us have fear of separation? Repeat that. Can you...
Why there is some people that seem to pierce
to pierce through fear of separation,
through the illusion of separation,
through the veil of separation. Thank you. Why some people are able to pierce through the veil of separation, meaning why are some able to see the truth, to experience the truth, to get through that veil of Maya and others are not? Is it predetermined? Yes and no. Meaning, yes, it is predetermined, but that of that which is predetermined has to do with us right here, right now. Every one of us has the ability to pierce through it. Grace is there, yes. For some it's going to be easier. Our karmic cycle of birth and rebirth and reincarnation and that which we bring into this lifetime. Some of us come into this lifetime with so much that it's going to be a lot more difficult. Some come in almost already pierced. These are the ones very young, and they're already there. But no matter how much you bring into this life, it's always possible. It's always possible. Just keep working it. Keep working it. Keep reminding yourself. Keep anchoring in your truth. And then one day you'll just realize, I can see. And you realize the veil itself was an illusion. That there never was anything to do. There never was anything to pierce. Because here you are. Beautiful. Have a beautiful rest of your evenings. I am going to Delhi tomorrow for a few days. I have a program and some projects and a variety of things in Delhi. I will be back on the 20th. What day of the week is that? Saturday. So we will resume satsang on Saturday the 20th. So unfortunately I will miss you for 3 days, 17th, 18th, 19th, no satsang. But we will be back on Saturday the 20th. If you're still going to be here in Rishikesh, I look so forward to seeing you. If you won't still be here, then feel free to send in your questions online, or you can get them to our beautiful Seva team here, and they'll give them to me on the paper to begin with as well. And so much love